welcome to my channel. So I talk about a lot of leagues on this channel, and one league that I show probably the least amount of love to is the PWHL. And yesterday I was watching the Vancouver Golden Eyes and Toronto Scepters game, and it made me realize that, yeah, this league is fun. This league is fun to watch, and there's a lot of cool things happening in this league. So I'm going to do a little bit of a standings update and give my thoughts on each team and see who is going to win the Walter Cup, which is the PWHL Stanley Cup. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the way this video is going to work, I'm going to talk about the top 3 teams, then the middle 3 teams, and then the bottom 2 teams. And the top 3 teams as of recording are the Boston Fleet at number 1, the Minnesota Frost at number 2, and then the Montreal Victoire at number 3. I have a Victoire jersey on, and as you can see by the C, it is a Marie-Philippe Poulin jersey. Probably my favorite hockey player ever. So getting into the Boston Fleet, they have been on a tear this season. Their goalie has been outstanding. Frankel, if she doesn't win goaltender of the year this year, I don't know what the choosing committee is thinking. Their power play and penalty kill have been fantastic. Their penalty kill, like I think it was 8 games or something into the season, was 100%. And then the Vancouver Golden Eyes broke that 100% penalty kill. But this team is looking to be probably the favorite for the Walter Cup. As of recording, they have 26 points in 12 games. And one thing I will mention about the PWHL is that they have the 3-2-1 point system. So you get 3 points for a flat out win in regulation. You get 2 points if you win in overtime, and any sort of loss in overtime or the shootout, you get 1 point. So the points are a little bit different. And the PWHL has garnered a lot of praise for that. And Boston looking very, very solid and looking like a monster. Now, next, Minnesota Frost. They were kind of questionable at the beginning of the season, but they've kind of picked it up, and they are the back-to-back cup winners, and I don't think anyone really counts them out. And I mean, Taylor Heisey, probably one of the best players in the PWHL. Her and Marie-Philippe Poulin are up there in who is the best, and I think it is only really in between those two. And then Montreal Victoire, which is my favorite team, and they, kind of like Minnesota, were looking really shaky at the beginning of the season, and they had some hiccups, but they have strung together some wins and they have strung together some points. They have 19 points in 11 games. And yeah, so the top 3 are looking pretty scary right now, and for good reason. Now for the teams that are in the middle of the league, and these teams are the New York Sirens at number 4, the Toronto Scepters that are at number 5, and then the Ottawa Charge, who are at number 6. Now, the New York Sirens, they have kind of been the weakest team, I would say, thus far in the league. They, I do believe, are the only ones to not make playoffs yet. And yeah, they do have a good player in Sarah Fillier, who was drafted first overall last year, and she has been the best player, I would say, for the Sirens. And she could probably single-handedly drag this team into the playoffs. And as of recording, they are in a playoff spot, so good for them. And then the Toronto Scepters, I would say that their season and what they've been able to do have been a little bit disappointing. They've had some of the best talent in Natalie Spooner, Renata Fast, Emma Malte, and I mean now Sarah Nurse, who was on that team and now she's on Vancouver. They have kind of been middle of the pack. They were in the playoffs 2 seasons ago and kind of lost heartbreakingly. And yeah, so with the Toronto Scepters, I think that there's a little bit more expected of them, but I mean, they are a Toronto sports team, so everyone kind of has higher expectations for them. So, yeah. And then the Ottawa Charge, who went to the finals last year, lost to the Minnesota Frost, and they like they kind of lost their head coach halfway through the season, or up to this point, halfway through. She was diagnosed with cancer, which I'm not gonna say that that is necessarily a bad thing or something that we should harp on because it is cancer at the end of the day. So kind of saddening for them, but she has been around the team. She is able to coach the home games, but for the away games, it's a little bit difficult. So they've kind of gone through a little bit of adversity there, but Emily Clark, she's been solid for the team. And yeah, so Ottawa, I think it would be kind of nice if they made the playoffs just because of like the whole story around them. Now for the two teams that are at the bottom of the league, and that is the Vancouver Golden Eyes at number 7, and then the Seattle Torrent, who are at number 8. And these are the two expansion teams for the PWHL this year, the first two expansion teams in the league. And Vancouver, they've kind of been unlucky with a little bit of injuries. Mashmeyer, I do believe, was out for a little bit. Nina Jobe Smith was out. And then probably the biggest name, Sarah Nurse, has been out. And Nurse, she played the home opener, the season opener, and all that kind of stuff. And then she hasn't played until yesterday, and it has definitely been felt throughout the whole Vancouver lineup. Um, Missing a star like that will definitely do something to the locker room. But I think that one thing that I have kind of noticed watching their games and stuff like that is that the chemistry, it feels like, isn't really there. I was watching the game yesterday against the Scepters, which I mentioned in the intro, and I was watching them pass and all that kind of stuff. And maybe it's just me needing to get kind of more used to like the women's game, but it felt like that they were disconnected. Like some girls were passing to places where there was absolutely no one. And yeah, it was a little bit frustrating, but they did pull that game to overtime, which they had no business being in overtime. Toronto ended up winning that game. But yeah, this Golden Eyes team definitely looking kind of shaky in their first season, but injuries have been a factor. And then the Seattle Torrent, they have not in the same capacity as Vancouver, but they have also not looked great. And it is a little bit disappointing to see both these teams at the bottom of the league because you kind of want like your expansion teams to be pretty good in their first seasons, but I mean it is expansion and it is a whole new group of players who some of them have probably never played with each other, so I will give them a little bit of grace, and it is only the first season, so we don't have like a huge track record of them being bad. Now, my overall thoughts about the PWHL this year is that I do believe that we're going to have a new cup winner this year. I don't believe that the Frost will get a three-peat. If they did do that, that would be crazy. But I think Boston is the favorite, and I don't think that that's a hot take at all right now. Um, Montreal may surprise a few people, and who knows? We're only a third into the season, and there may be a team like, I don't know, the Vancouver Golden Eyes who's surprising, get in the playoffs and win the cup. I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit of hoping for my Vancouver team. But yeah, it is interesting to see. And I think that this league has been really, really valuable and really has been a very big positive for the women's game. It has been exciting and it has also been garnering a lot of fans and viewership. So I do not mind that. So let me know down in the comments what you think of anything that I said in this video, because I think that this league is pretty exciting. And also, do you agree or disagree with me on some of my takes? And then make sure you like and subscribe. Today is actually my 1 year channel anniversary. So 1 year of me uploading videos, and looking back at some of my older videos, I was like, ooh, yeah, we've come a long way. So yeah, well, happy birthday for me, for my channel, and thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next